What is going on, guys? What is going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. Today we're going to be talking about the New York Giants getting another win. They're 2-0 in the preseason, 25-22 versus the Cincinnati Bengals. There are a lot of things to talk about, a lot of good things, which is very, very surprising. Not a lot of bad things, but a lot of good things. Let's get right into it. Before we start talking about this game, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new to the channel, if you guys are enjoying the content that you're seeing on the channel. And by the way, this video is sponsored and brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Make sure you guys use the code KB27 for 20% off plus free shipping on your next purchase with Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com and go ahead and purchase whatever you want to purchase, but make sure you guys use the promo code KB27 for 20% off plus free shipping. They're promoting their new performance package 4.0. That's including the lawnmower, the weed whacker, the crop preserver, crop reviver, boxer briefs, a tool shed bag, everything you want in your grooming set for men is there with the performance package 4.0. Make sure you guys pick one up and use the promo code KB27 for 20% off plus free shipping. Alright, so let's get right into it. Now, first and foremost, we got to talk about the most obvious person. Everybody wants to talk about him after every single game. I know it's going to be like that until the end of this season, and that is Daniel Jones. Now, Daniel Jones had a fairly good game. Now, obviously, the numbers with touchdowns aren't there. He had an interception. Obviously, you guys saw the interception with Daniel Bellinger. It was off his hands. He straight up went Evan Ingram on that. I mean, I did not expect Daniel Bellinger to make an Evan Ingram type play, but he did. I'm not sure what the reason is with tight ends and the New York Giants. They always cause interceptions more so than wide receivers, running backs, anybody else that catches the football, and even quarterbacks. I mean, just a lot of the times, like back in Eli Manning's days, I mean, you know, or Daniel Jones, for instance, as well. It's just always been the tight end position to really be the cause of interceptions. DJ had a very, very good day. He was 14 of 16, 116 yards, and an interception. Now, I mean, with that interception, like if we just took that off the board and Daniel Bellinger caught that and didn't Evan Ingram it, he would have over 120 yards and only miss one pass. He would be 15 of 16. That to me is very, very good, a very good stat line. I know it was against twos, all right? I know everybody's going to say that, you know, it's against the second team, Cincinnati Bengals, you know, offense and defense. They didn't play any of their stars. I get that. But this is a step in the right direction. We played the second team of the Patriots last week, and we did not look nearly as good as we do this week. And to be honest with you, the Cincinnati Bengals have a lot better of a roster than the New England Patriots do. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to be world beaters now because of it, or we're going to make the playoffs or anything like that, or this offense and the defense, all the problems are fixed. But it shows some improvement. It shows some coaching adjustments. It shows consistency. So that's what I want to see, just improvement. Well, I'm not here saying that this team is going to go the distance now this year and, you know, actually perform after one good week of preseason. So that's not what I'm saying at all. But DJ looked good. The offensive line looked good. Evan Neal had a makeup game. He had a really good game compared to, you know, the New England Patriots where he debuted. A lot of people were giving him a lot of crap for it. You saw like Bleacher Report say that he was like the worst rookie so far, one of the worst rookies so far, disappointment or whatever. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous statement to make in somebody's debut. And he showed that he can be a really good tackle in the future. I'm hoping that, you know, we have our bookend tackles with Thomas and Neal. But when we go down the list, I mean, the injuries are starting to add up, okay? Now, according to Bobby Skinner, he made a great tweet. Now, 7 out of the 11 players that we drafted, that the New York Giants drafted this year, are injured currently right now. 7 out of the 11. All right, the only ones that are still around right now is Micah McFadden, Evan Neal, and I'm blanking right now. I'm missing a couple of them. But, I mean, guys like Dane Belton have been out for a while. Marcus McKeithen out for the year. Now you got KAYVON THIBODEAUX that went down. Wandale is healthy as well. Daniel Bellinger is healthy. And I may be missing one more. But we got a lot of guys that are hurt that are rookies, okay? Our drafted guys that are supposed to be our future, the start of our rebuild, are now hurt. So that's a big issue. A lot of people are saying that it's the turf. It is partly the turf. But Thaddeus Moss, riots up for Thaddeus Moss. I think all Giants fans want to be at Thaddeus Moss's house today.
Steady trying to find the motive. Why do what I do? And freedom ain't getting no closer. No matter how far I go.
And go address the situation. So, it was a dirty move by Thaddeus Moss, and it was legal, but it was a dirty move in the preseason. Landed awkwardly on KAYVON Thibodeaux. Darian Beavers is hurt now too. He got hurt in this game. A lot of things going on with the turf and injuries in general, but the Giants need to get it fixed. We even went down to Will Holden as our center, and listen to me, Will Holden might be the worst center I've ever seen in my entire life. I know he's not a center. I know he is. I think he's a tackle. They were down centers. This is the 7th center that the Giants have used in camp so far, or in the preseason. In this process, in this 2022 season, very early season, this is the 7th center that they've worked out. And Will Holden played center for the 3rd string for Davis Webb and the guys. And it was one of the worst performances, to say the least. It was one of the worst performances I've seen from a center in the NFL ever. I mean, there was no velocity on those snaps. There was one snap that it was a bounce pass. Davis Webb had to catch a bounce pass for the snap. I don't even know if that's legal. Is that legal? How is that possible? I don't know. But Davis Webb overcame adversities, and he won us the game. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's go down the list as well. Let's talk about the receivers in general. Obviously, the biggest standout is Alex Bachman, right? 11 receptions, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. This man, I know I said this in the Twitter space, in Ash Griffin's Twitter space yesterday. You guys got to check that out. It's awesome. But, I made a slight exaggeration that he looked like Cooper Kupp out there. I mean, to be honest, he did look like Cooper Kupp out there. I'm not saying he is Cooper Kupp. He's just that he's playing against lesser guys, and he had a chance to ball out, and he looked very, very good. He played like Cooper Kupp, the same type of role there for the Giants, and he balled out. Alex Bachman balled out. And he might be fighting for a roster spot. He's one of those guys that, of Alex Bachman. He's been on the team for a couple years, and you kind of just put him aside. You're looking more at Richie James. You're looking more at Colin Johnson. But Alex Bachman may be a guy to very quietly make this roster and actually maybe be a part of this offense as well. You look at guys like Colin Johnson as well. That's been very consistent. Colin Johnson played well in the preseason last week. Played well in camp. He was a standout in camp, and now he's playing well again. Another good option at receiver in this game against the Bengals, and he is balling out. He's doing a very good job. Richie James, we didn't get too much of him. He was in the returning game as well. I'd say the biggest competition right now is between Alex Bachman and Richie James. I don't know if Darius Slayton makes this roster. I don't know if he does. I'm not saying Darius Slayton is bad, but if you look at cost versus reward, return on investment, you look at how much Darius Slayton is going to be making with the team, and versus the production you may get out of a Colin Johnson and Alex Bachman. It may be very cheaper, and it may be just the more efficient option to go with Johnson and Bachman, or Johnson and James, or whatever the case, however you want to slice it, rather than just having Darius Slayton and maybe Colin Johnson, right? You may want to save some money and keep a guy like Alex Bachman. So that's an option. On top of that, Alex Bachman plays that slot role, and you look at guys like Wandale, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard. These are guys that are prone to get hurt, and Wandale not prone to get hurt, but he's a smaller guy. And the Giants have a lot of smaller receivers. Alex Bachman would fill in those roles more, a little bit better than a Colin Johnson would, or, a CJ Board or something like that. David Sills didn't play in last week, but he played this week, and he had a very good game. Had a couple of back shoulder throws that Daniel Jones threw absolute money passes to. He did a very good job. David Sills might not make the roster, but he's another guy that may be added to the practice squad again. But he's a good option to have on the practice squad, to be honest with you. Tyrod Taylor did not look great at all, and he hasn't been looking great this whole entire preseason. I mean, I was rooting for him. I want to have a good backup quarterback, but Davis Webb has been looking really good too. He led the team to 2 comeback victories, despite the monstrosity of a center that we had in Will Holden. I mean, catching bounce passes as snaps, overcoming adversity, and still getting the ball to Alex Bachman and winning the game. I mean, he just drove down the field, 3 minutes, 5 seconds left, drove down the field and won the game for the team. Great job there. let's move on a little bit to, we'll talk about Antonio Williams first. Antonio Williams looks really good. I don't know what happened to Gary Brightwell in this game. I wasn't up to date. I had just came home, then watched the game, so I didn't watch any of the tweets. I didn't see any of the tweets prior to the game, so I guess Gary Brightwell, maybe he's hurt. I don't know what the problem is, but he didn't play at all this game. But Antonio Williams stepped in, Jashaun Corbin as well. Those two filled in at running back. Jashaun Corbin's okay. He's not going to make the roster. He's all right. He's a slippery back, but Antonio Williams really impresses me. And if Matt Breida, who hasn't practiced in ages, if Matt Breida winds up being cut from this team because of the lack of time he's spent with the team, I don't know what's going on with that, but Antonio Williams, I feel very comfortable having him as an RB2. Now, then that means you would have to bring in like Gary Brightwell as an RB3, so that kind of like doesn't make your backfield as good as having a Breida and Antonio Williams, but I really like Antonio Williams, and he's playing very, very well. He ran with the ones this week and a little bit with the twos as well. He ran all game pretty much. Jashaun Corbin took most of the fourth quarter, but Antonio Williams was in for the majority of the time, and he did very, very well. Let's move on to the defense. Now, the defense didn't worry me as much as last week. I know technically they almost allowed the same amount of points compared to last week, which I'm not looking at too much, but the starters look good. For the lack of linebacker depth that we have, because everybody's getting hurt, they were okay. Darian Beavers went down. Micah McFadden just looks great. Micah McFadden is something that I noticed with McFadden in college was his ability to make those angle tackles. You know, those outside runs. He's so good at getting to the ball carrier on an angle. It's almost ridiculous. I mean, he gets to them so fast. He reminds me a lot of Blake Martinez. He looks faster than Blake Martinez. Blake Martinez is obviously the better player, but he looks faster than Blake Martinez, and I hope he can get to that level. But he reminds me a lot of him. Just a tackling machine, always a part of the play. So I'm very excited about McFadden. Darian Beavers, we gotta see what's up with him. I hope he's okay. He's been having a really good preseason as well. You look at the pass rush. The pass rush it's better. It's better than last week. I felt last week that they didn't get any sort of pass rush on the quarterbacks versus the Patriots, but against the Bengals, they were getting to the quarterback. They weren't sacking the quarterback. Again, we had another sack from a secondary player. I don't think we have any sacks with defensive linemen, but another secondary, I think it was Khalil Dorsey, that had a sack on a nickel blitz. That seems to be the only thing that's really getting us home. But even on a four-man rush, we're getting pressure. We're forcing the quarterback to make throws that are ill-advised, and that's something that I want to see from our defense consistently. Even if you don't give me the sack, of course, that's at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want to kill drives. We want to slow down their offense, and sacks are a big part of that. But forcing the quarterback to throw ill-advised throws and throw them early, get him off his timing, can help in big ways too. It's going to force an incompletion, force you to stop the clock a little bit, let your defense rest up a little bit, and try to force a turnover, force a fourth down, force something. So it gives you a chance it gives your defense a chance to make another play. So that being said, I like what the pass rush is doing. It's getting there. They have a lot more ways to go, but it's getting there. And the secondary is starting to hold up a little bit too. Aaron Robinson still looks like a little bit of a concern to me. He's a decent man corner. He's not a terrible man corner, but man, he gets killed on those comebacks. He gets killed on those curl routes where the receiver just drops his hips, turns around. Aaron Robinson is not able to shift his momentum back forward and get to the ball carrier or get to the receiver. It's not in his skill set. He's not able to do it. A lot of injuries went down. You guys know about all the injuries. Even Graham Gano went down trying to be an all-pro safety and trying to make a tackle in special teams. But he got kicked in the head, so he got a concussion. So he'll be out a couple of weeks. I'm pretty sure he'll make it back before the start of the season. So that being said, guys, that is the video. A lot of positives to take away from this. I know there was a lot of injuries, but there was a lot of guys that stepped up in this game. Alex Bachman definitely gets the game ball. So that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. As always, this video is sponsored by Manscaped. Make sure you guys use the promo code KB27 for 20% off plus free shipping. And that being said, I'm KB, and I'll see you guys in the next video.